Here I am in my house in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Going back in time, I'd like to talk about an event that I had in Laos. I'd come into operations on the 4th of December 1972 and noticed on the schedule for the 5th I was scheduled in 123. In fact, it was an old camouflage bird that had been used for spraying down in Vietnam and stunk like hell. Serial number last three were 648. This was a good airplane, but in the rainy season it just smelled bad. On the schedule, of course, it was depicted the route I was going to take for the next day, and it said I was to go from Vientiane, Laos, down to Pepper Grinder in Udon, Thailand, pick up munitions, and go down to Pak Se, and RON down there. That means remain overnight. The schedule also said I was going to be there for a few days. It didn't show me coming back right away. It'd be working in the direction of the customer in Pak Se. Okay, this is fine. I'd probably get a lot of time down there. And I kind of liked Pak Se area. It was good. But the next day when I got out to the airport, I saw the old bird parked out there in front of operations. And I went out and checked it over. But before that, before I left the house, I put on an Air America uniform. I had Western style boots. And in fact, they'd been made in Hong Kong, so I guess they weren't Western, but they had pointy toes, and my uniform consisted of the Air America gray pants and light gray shirt and 4 bars of epaulets on the shoulder board, which denoted that I was a captain. The wings on my shirt, and above the wings was a Buddhist symbol, which brought me good luck, I thought. And around my neck went a large gold chain with many amulets that had been given to me by some of the locals as a respect item. The belt that went through the pant loops was black, heavy leather, and holding the scabbard for a Randall survival knife on my right side. Randall survival knife came in a large leather scabbard, and it was unique because it had been designed by people for survival in the jungle. It was stainless steel, had my name engraved on it from the company, and the bottom edge was razor sharp, literally. You could shave with it. The top of that blade, which was about 10 inches long, had a sawtooth on it, so that if you needed to saw your way out of an aluminum coffin, you could do it. The hilt was hollow, and in that hilt I always put a little pack of toilet paper to keep the other items from rattling around, a permanent match, and a syringe of morphine. This was in the hilt of the thing, but around the hilt I'd wrapped 100 feet of nylon cord. Not parachute cord, just the stuff that was in it. It was like, could be used as fishing line. And then over the top of that I wrapped parachute cord. Could serve as a rope. And the end of this thing was tucked right into a rubber crutch tip that held everything in place in the hilt of that knife. It's early morning, but I always got out to the airport early, so I loaded my aluminum suitcase and an aluminum flight kit into the car and drove out to the airport. Once out there, I went into operations and checked the schedule, and it was still the same thing that I'd seen the night before. You get down to Udon at Pepper Grinder, pick up a load, and go to Pak Se, Laos. I just took my suitcase and flight kit and went out to the airplane. Did a leisurely walk around because I was there early, and stowed the paperwork in the airplane and my suitcase and flight kit in the cockpit. With that chore done, I went back into the operations building where there was a little restaurant and sat down at a table awaiting the rest of the crew to arrive. Everything had been done, actually, so they were just a formality to be there. The schedule showed that I was going to have Bill Cuthbertson as co-pilot. He had had a career in the Air Force, and he specialized in bug science in college and got a PhD. So due to that elevated educational level, they awarded him a rank of full bird colonel. But he left the Air Force to come over here to earn a little extra money before going back to civilian life in the United States. This was all fine, but he was kind of a twitchy guy, and I didn't really appreciate him as a co-pilot. Most of the time I did all the flying myself and left him just sit there and play with these bug books and things like that. The rest of the crew consisted of two Thais called air flight specialists, or kickers as we normally called them. The senior one there was Sampap. Sampap had been in the Thai military and excelled in that field of endeavor before leaving and coming up with Air America. He was an excellent kicker. You didn't have to tell him to do something twice, and normally he would do it before you even asked him to. The other one was a trainee, Buma, and he was there to get put through the ringer by Sampap, and I appreciate that. I'd leave them alone in the back and let him do his job. I had my job up front, and they would take care of the back of that airplane very well. The co-pilot arrived there, and also one of the embassy guys that had been hired as security or drug interdiction. For some reason they thought that they had these people on the ramp to harass inbound people that may or may not have a kilo of opium in their bag to sell in the market, which was not illegal, but they didn't want Air America involved in anything resembling a conspiracy for moving drugs. Well, I harassed him, and he was easily harassed, and somehow I think he kind of enjoyed it. Made him feel like one of the gang again. But it was time. Finished my breakfast and went off the airplane. I'd done everything in advance, but the co-pilot had gone into the traffic building to get some passengers that were going to go down to Udorn. And I climbed into the cockpit and settled into the captain's seat. This was my place in the world, and I really enjoyed flying this airplane, even though in a rainy season it stunk like hell, but it was a 123K, and it was a good bird. I loved them. And finally, traffic and operations came out with about 6 passengers. Well, I dropped them off at the Air America ramp before taxiing down to Pepper Grinder to get the load we'd be delivering to sites outside of Pak Se. Thank you.